Because that's the only way that they can get it up.
Yeah, welcome to another award-winning episode of Unrelenting. I'm Darren O'Neill. And wow, wait, no, I don't want. Okay, I don't know if that was that wasn't. I'm telling you.
Oh my God,
they had the wrong effects on. You know, instead of the compressor, it was given the auto pan. So I mean, that would even be even better. Voice is going from left to right to left to right to right to left.
Why were you screwing around with that?
That's what I use during the rock and roll pre-show for the, hey, I want you to reach out and feel the vibrations and let them down deep into your soul, brothers and sisters.
Huh?
It's a thing. Don't you listen to the rock and roll pre-show? No? You never heard it?
Never have?
You're like, no, don't like it, don't want to hear it.
I have an alarm, dude, if I'm going to be listening, which doesn't always happen, but if I'm going to be listening live, I start usually like 5 minutes late.
You're like, why don't want to listen to anything before the show?
Well, this is assuming I'm awake before the show.
Oh, that's true. That is
sometimes, true. Sometimes may not be the case.
And the no agenda,
by the way,
guys.
We got to get done on time today because I got lunch coming.
Oh, you got lunch coming, or you're going out for lunch?
Not lunch coming. I get groceries coming. This is what I meant.
Well, I mean, you will eventually turn the groceries into lunch?
Well, yes. But I pre-ordered them so they would show up right at the end of the show.
No Agenda has been complaining about the lack of support for their show.
Mm-hmm.
Today we have two Scotts. Scott Gorman came in with $2.50 and Scott Evers with 50 cents. So No Agenda, take that.
Yeah. We're getting more recurring US dollar donators in the other show I do.
But see, Scott Gorman at least came in on the last show with $2.50, and that is
$2.50
yeoman's work. Can you imagine? Okay, $2.50. It's a 2-hour show.
Yeah,
with two dudes.
Yeah,
so you're basically giving $1.25 to each, which is fine.
Yeah, so like 50 cents an hour.
If everybody that's listening, I know that is the biggest fallacy of the world. But if everybody listening would give $2 a show, we would be happy.
Everybody? Are you kidding?
Everybody that's listening.
Yeah.
Each and every one of them.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't.
No.
They're cheap sons of bitches.
Well, or they don't listen.
But no, I said everyone listening.
A download is not a listen. I've said that.
No, that's very true.
A download is not a listen.
There's a lot of people who just have old podcast catchers that are just doing nothing but sucking up their bandwidth and filling up their...
I'm pretty sure I have 3 different devices downloading No Agenda.
Oh, so you're trying to fake the numbers.
Yeah, faking the numbers. And then, my main one that I would listen to, my iPhone, gets it on 2 different apps.
And I know you say don't pay attention to the troll room and don't even give them any credit.
No.
We have one person in the troll room that said they'd give $5 a show if I got rid of Gene. So, I mean, there's trolling along.
Oh, hey, lucky for them and lucky for you, actually. There is a show for that.
Yeah, there's a few.
I assume that person's already paying you for your Random Thoughts show for $5.
No, I haven't seen any from them for Random
must be
Thoughts.
A liar.
Yeah.
A troll room with a liar. Holy shit. Does that ever happen?
Because Random Thoughts is very much like Unrelenting. Without Gene.
Literally Unrelenting without Gene. That's why it's half the length.
Yeah, right. Well, it's less than that because it's usually 30 to 45 minutes, sometimes an hour.
Yeah, pretty good show, though.
Thank you. The interesting thing this week was vibe coding. It was Wednesday morning when I normally do this. I'm like, well, let me try this vibe coding thing. And the whole morning went away. So I ended up recording in the afternoon, but that 2 hours or so of vibe coding left me with a very playable in-browser game, and I'm excited.
Mm-hmm.
It's not polished or anything yet, but the bones are there, and to see what it can do, it's amazing that it worked as well as it did. Because I've heard horror stories from people, including the Podfather, trying to vibe code things, and it's like it just doesn't work. But I think it's much different when you're trying to vibe code and interact with other systems and other websites and creating a little video game, I think is easy now. And taking that video game and making it so somebody can hit a button to start it and also take a quarter's worth of Satoshis from their account, that's a little bit harder.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd like to do that because I think that would be awesome too. Recreate the old video game kind of concept. And it would be good for bonus content. All that bonus content we put out there, just like you have to drop a quarter in the slot before you can take part. And it would be a lot more than a quarter.
There's too much bonus content.
Everything's bonus content.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I think that the competition, and we can get the real numbers from podcastindex.org, is it? Or .com? I can't remember which one they are. Org, yeah. So the stat numbers, you can see the total podcast, and then you can see the active podcast. So if you've posted an episode at least once a month, I think.
And they never have changed. I haven't looked recently, but I'm guessing they haven't changed. I want to see a week. I don't want to see 3 days and 10 days. I want to see a week.
Yeah.
3 days, 10 days. No good. I
think you should stay on when your wife shows up and tell her you're busy and keep listening and call into the show with a suggestion/complaint.
Wait, the podcast show now has call-ins?
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure you know how to do that. So I think that's it's a valid suggestion/complaint.
Because the 10 days is at 244,000.
Yeah, no one cares about 10 days because 10 days doesn't actually, no one puts a show out every 10 days.
It'd be weird. It would be a very hard schedule to keep.
It would be. I guess you could pre-record a year's worth and then put it out that way.
True. I'm just going to screw with you. I'm going to come out every 10 days.
Thing. So this is something that is, I don't know that we've talked about it. This is all, how the sausage is made stuff. But in the YouTube world, a lot of people, I would say, in fact, majority of the people actually pre-record their episodes. And then a lot of people will record a week's worth of episodes and then put one out a day.
Right.
But only recorded for 4 or 5 hours in the weekend. And then people that don't do dailies, people that do weeklies will often record a whole month at a time and then schedule it to be posted to look like they're doing once a week. For podcasts, if we include what NPR and other, big budget podcasts.
Yes, Gene, NPR.
Do.
Yes.
You remember that series? What was it called? Serial?
I don't recall.
About the guy that allegedly possibly killed a chick.
The serial killer.
5 years ago.
I don't recall.
Think it was called The Serial Killer. I think the series was called Serial because it was a play on words because it was a serial format where each episode left you hanging and you had to retune in to listen to the next one. They also published them, I think, weekly. But they.
And how long were these shows? Were they little 5-minute blurbs? Were they a little bit longer?
They were an hour-long episodes.
Okay, it's a decent length.
You seriously have never heard of Serial?
No. I don't pay attention to anything.
It's the thing that legitimized podcasting for big budgets.
Where people were like, wow.
The first thing that was referred to as a podcast that came out of a big budget production.
People will listen. People will pay attention.
10 years ago?
I believe it. I know the true crime stuff is very popular.
Yeah, it was true crime stuff. And then they would do the episode where, you're constantly shifting who you think the guilty party is, right? Because it's not here's the guy in prison and why he shouldn't be there. It was more here's the events that happen. And then each episode, it feels like the other side is the one who's telling the truth.
Which is exactly what you want to do to keep people hooked.
If you want to have a serial.
Yeah, if you want them to come back for more episodes.
Yeah.
And continue to listen.
Say it's a story as old as time. And 1001 Nights.
With that said, with 4.5 million, actually 4,533,932. Oh, one more. We need double 33s on the number.
Mm-hmm.
But even if you assume, even if we made the 10 days into a week, which we know it's over because that's 10 days, not 7.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's just assume that was the same number for a week. That's 244,000 out of 4.5 million that are still around. That's a lot of dead podcasts. Or, I mean, okay, maybe there are a few people that do a monthly show,
Mm-hmm.
but that just means the amount of people that have started podcasting now way outnumber the people still doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And they've all gone to YouTube because there's more money in YouTube.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you do a YouTube style thing, you can basically generate by doing nothing really in terms of trying to hit people directly, but you can get a lot more than these 50-cent donations or whatever.
Well, YouTube monetizes in a completely different way. Yeah. Sure, you've got the super chat, but they push that.
Super chats, you got ad revenue share, you've got
and when people pay, you also get money based upon some percentage.
Yes.
Which is why,
because you and I both subscribe to YouTube.
Yes.
To avoid ads.
Oh yeah, hate ads.
But when we watch something
like Bandrew,
that person
or Atlas Rand Gaming
will still get revenue from. I'm currently demonetized, so
for so many reasons, I'm sure.
No good reasons, man. But it hasn't stopped me from producing content. Seriously.
Because the content still has a value and people can still reach out to you and they can still show you some value back if they want to. Or you're just doing it for fun.
I'm doing it mostly because it's the way I look at it is it's building an audience and a group that has certain.
You're building benefits. A cult.
Yeah, I'm building a cult. Exactly. That's exactly right.
And someday you're all going to be in bathrobes.
Serial was out in 2015.
Okay, so that's very early on in the grand scheme of things.
Considered to be the first podcast that was done by a professional, high-budget organization. Everything prior to 2015 is considered. Now, there could be exceptions, obviously, but it's considered to be historically just kind of what Adam invented, which is guys sitting in their underwear in front of a microphone recording something.
Right. Or as Bill O'Reilly said, guys, with dirty sneakers and tattoos, then it's a podcast. If you're dressed dapperly like he is, then it's a broadcast.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody has to explain to Bill the RSS feed. I think that would take a while, though.
Bill I think he is just batting 1,000 right now. Because he's managed to go from his very narrowly focused sort of a Trumpy California liberal, the people that I imagine in my head when he does jokes for them and they laugh, of whatever craziness thing happening in the world, shaking their heads going, yeah, those crazy Trump people. That was 100% of his audience 5 years ago. I remember when he donated $1 million to what's his face, the dead guy that ran the country for a couple of years.
The dead guy.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about Bill O'Reilly. Which Bill are you talking about?
No, I'm talking about the other guy.
The other guy.
O'Reilly.
Right. Well, that's what he said about podcasting.
Who am I thinking of?
I don't know.
You know who I'm thinking of. The guy that does the politically incorrect thing.
Oh, Bill Maher.
Bill Maher.
Yes,
that Bill.
That Bill.
Yeah. Well, you and I watch different Bills.
Yeah, we do. We each have our own Bill. And we follow them, and then we get together and we talk about what the Bills are talking. This show should really be what Bill said.
Their careers are in their rearview mirror at this point as well. But I was talking about O'Reilly No, not you. Were talking about O'Reilly. God damn it!
Take that B12 time. Wait, Gene, it's time.
I know. It's time.
Opening up a little liquid death, and of course, I've got the metoprolol, some of the CoQ10, and flecainide. Yep. Good stuff, but only if your doctor prescribes it, kids.
Okay. So speaking of doctors, though, something interesting. I stumbled across a new doctor show because you know how much I like watching House.
Well, yeah, especially for Olivia Wilde.
Yeah, she's not bad. I mean, she's not like, I actually like the other chick more.
Oh, the quirky one.
The one, yeah, the one that went from brunette to blonde back to brunette.
The one that played Charlie Sheen's daughter, illegitimate daughter in 2.5 Men, right?
I didn't see that show.
Yeah, really? You never saw, wait, you've never seen 2.5 Men?
I've seen clips from 2.5 Men.
It was comedy genius, my friend.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
I mean, until they killed off Charlie, but before that, it was great.
Right. It seemed like it was mostly just basically Charlie being Charlie.
Yeah. Which was genius in its own way.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
they fired Charlie.
Now, if I was going to put Gene into a role, I wouldn't have it be somebody that was like, well, I hate space video games and sitting around in my underwear. No, what would work would be you being you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You don't want to take
wrong with wearing a bathrobe to work.
Right. You don't want to go too far off point.
Mm-mm. No,
because that wouldn't be any good. But you found a new doctor show.
Yeah.
Or an old doctor show. What's it called?
Pitt or The Pitt or just Pitt.
I am not familiar with this.
Pitt.
It's like in Pittsburgh then.
Yes. It's a emergency room in Pittsburgh.
Is this like fiction or is this like...
It is fiction. It is using actors, but YouTube actual doctors are all doing watches of this show and can't believe how accurate it is.
It's good when that happens.
Unlike House. Everyone poo-poos House.
Well, yeah, because it's like, well, this is obviously fiction the way this all works out.
Yeah, they're like, nobody would get away with the shit that House was doing. Nobody has the budget to have a bunch of people sitting around and diagnosing one person. Nobody has blah, blah, blah. I mean, the House, they in their opinion, the only thing that they attempted to get right was the names of the diseases.
Not lupus.
And maybe a few of the symptoms, but everything around House is much more enjoyed, I think, by lay people than actual doctors. This show, on the other hand, if you just Google Pitt and then Doctor Reacts or Doctor Watches, you will see a litany of different YouTube doctors with actual doctor degrees raving about how amazing this show is.
How do you know they have actual doctor degrees, though?
Well, because some people would refer to some of us as YouTube doctors, but
right.
I want to walk that back very carefully.
Yes, Dr. Gene, how are you doing today?
There's no medical advice provided in this show. Even if I have a channel called Dr. Gene, it does not mean that I have a medical license and don't need one because I'm not providing any medical advice.
Donate to Dr. Gene so he can keep up his good work that he's been doing, trying to find answers for so many things.
All kinds of answers.
Yes.
And Dr. Berg, my favorite doctor, who got his doctor degree from chiropractor school, is on right now.
Ooh. Now,
live stream.
The other weird thing, since you brought that up, the people watching videos and then making videos, the meta of the meta of the meta has anybody, now this was just an idea.
It's one of the most successful formats out there.
But why? Why? I want to know.
I could tell you why.
Okay.
I can tell you why. Because reactions are, number one, drama. Number two, you don't have to write it. You don't have to plan it.
Very easy.
You just have to, in fact, it's a requirement that you don't pre-watch this shit so that you have the most wild reaction. So it is the most easy to do and at the same time, very interesting to watch because people like drama format. And that's why right now, probably about 25% of YouTube channels are reaction channels. One of my favorite that I repost quite a bit is Asmund Gold, who started off as a very prolific gaming YouTuber and known for never leaving his house or rarely leaving his house and, streaming his video games and things. Who right now is apparently the number one most watched political YouTuber.
Interesting.
Because he reacts to every Trump executive order.
See, we should be having a shtick like that.
And he has gained, I think, a tremendous amount of new people watching him as a result of that. He's not the biggest YouTube channel, but apparently he has some of the most eyeballs daily on YouTube. I think he's always been a Twitch streamer and he does YouTube clips, but I think that his YouTube channel is generating way more revenue than the Twitch channel is.
If I watch him, there'll just be one eyeball extra, though.
It's interesting because he only lives like 3 miles away from me.
Oh, so you're gonna go dox him? You're gonna stop by his house?
No.
Do you know him? Your buddies? Do you do grocery shopping together?
His house. It's not that, dude. Everybody recently that I've been watching lives in Austin. It's hilarious. It's everybody who doesn't. How do I phrase this? People who get big in YouTube or Twitch tend to move to Austin.
They figure it's more freedom down there.
It's considered to be the main city for live streaming.
It's like the safe place.
Not just in the country, in the world.
But here's what I want to know.
People that moved here from England
you
to live in Austin and be a streamer.
Now, is there any reaction show that only does reaction videos to other reaction shows?
I'm sure there is. I've not sought something like that out.
I want to be the one that is at least 5 steps down the line. I want to be doing a reaction to somebody doing a reaction of a reaction of a reaction of a reaction.
There is I know I've seen reactions of people reacting to somebody else reacting to them quite a bit. It's almost like emails back and forth, right? Or chat messages, except that they're videos. And so you watch the video of the other person, you pause it and you talk and you give your opinion. Then the other person does the same thing. Here's him watching me and my video, and here's what he said. Well, this is why he's totally wrong because he's a moron. And then, it is sort of like a public, calling it a debate would be giving it too much credit, but it's like a public argument.
Right.
For people to watch, which people enjoy. People have always enjoyed watching arguments. Half our shows are arguments. If you look at what people like to either watch or read, it's going to be 50% or 80% arguments, and then the remainder sex.
Well, and sometimes both.
That's the two main categories of entertainment. Is
okay? So I need to write a book, which is 80% arguing and then 20% sex.
And if you look at women's romance novels, they are literally both, because in almost every one of them, there's a rape.
You're like, wow, that doesn't seem like romance, but okay.
And that's treated it's the number one fetish, according to women, is the
women in Austin or like overall
pretend rape. Women in Austin don't really, they're kind of asexual.
Ooh, interesting.
Uh-huh. I mean, they have sex, don't get me wrong. They're just
not with you.
Things while they're doing other things while it's happening.
Would be like
they're playing video games or doing their checkbook,
making dinner.
I don't know about that. That's a tough one. Kitchen sex is always tricky.
Oh yeah, knives are involved. I mean, you got to be careful.
Yeah,
you got to be very careful.
So it's it's an interesting thing.
You figure about only 10. I'm still looking at the number here before I close the podcast index.
Mm-hmm.
The shows that have released in the past 90 days, 488,000. Again, 4.5 million overall, which means that's 90 days. So really, this is...
So 10% is 90 days.
Yeah.
So you figured by once a week, It's probably like 1%.
Yeah. It's very close to
that. Makes sense, because remember, we talked about this. I switched to the El Cheapo plan for Sir Gene Speaks on my hosting company on Buzzsprout. It's not even listed as a plan, but it's basically $5 a month, and they'll keep your show up. You just can't upload anything.
Right. Keep the archive, nothing new.
So it's basically $60 a year for web hosting.
Which is...
that's assuming anybody ever downloads.
Which is still not great compared to what I've been using, but it's all... mine is not automated at all. You're just getting a web hosting account. And
you're just paying for it with your labor.
You're doing everything that you need to do to keep this stuff up.
Yeah.
But it's like, that's not a lot of podcasts in the grand scheme of things compared to like YouTube channels. So let's just say again.
Oh, yeah.
Updated in the last 30 days, 354,000 podcasts. How many YouTube channels have been updated today?
Yeah, I think that there's something like a year's worth of new videos uploaded every second.
Which is why they need these AIs to scrub through and make sure there's nothing dangerous in it.
The AI takes about 2 minutes to scrub through an hour-long video.
I know. And somehow they still let Unrelenting up on YouTube. I mean, not every episode, to be fair.
Well, the AI enjoys watching that show.
They're like, you guys are good. You're funny. You're different.
Like, you have no video portion. This is the best kind of show. Less bandwidth for us.
Right. Although now there are AIs where you could just take the audio of this show and it would create video, which would be interesting as well.
I've tried to find something that's both reasonably priced and good enough visually, and I have not found anything that's worth doing yet.
I haven't either. But the concept
they create are not continuous. Like if you do an hour, they're going to have like 10 30-second clips that cover the topics you talked about in an hour. What do you do the rest of the time? That's why most of these videos that are basically just people talking, but they created the video, most of them repeat the video. If you watch them, I've noticed this annoyingly.
But
it's true. It's over and over. So they have probably about 5 to 10 minutes of different things, but then each of those 10 minutes is repeated until they're done.
Most people don't pay attention, though. I mean, if you're listening to it in the background, you may be.
Yeah. I think you are right. And I think a disproportionately large number of people watch YouTube on their phone, which often means putting the phone down while you're doing something else.
And consuming the audio.
To be annoying if I'm actually watching something.
Yeah, I want, there's a difference, though, then those are considered more audio shows with extras added. Unlike something that was, I've been watching Dignation with their reboot, and that is a multi-camera shot of the room.
Speaking of reaction shows.
Yeah.
I still haven't seen an episode of that. I should catch an episode of that. Is that on like YouTube Prime or what?
It is just on regular YouTube, just Dignation.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
With ads. Okay.
I mean, if you don't pay for YouTube.
I mean, if you don't pay, yeah. Sure.
Which they used to be. That's what I was trying to remember. Back in the day, they were on Revision 3, which was totally their own back end.
Well, it wasn't their own. It was Kevin's.
Well, but he was part of Dignation. So, but it's like you could have been YouTube, right? I mean, did he just miss out on, were they not just, you were competing?
Yeah. And I think they had an episode where they talked about it back then. Is the like, why didn't you YouTube? And I think the idea was that they were modeling Revision 3 more on a network.
True.
And YouTube, before it was purchased by Google, YouTube was basically a free-for-all zone for any kind of videos of anything you wanted.
You mean anything?
Not what we have today.
No.
It was very gonzo. It was, I'd say, even more gonzo than Rumble.
Really?
Like Rumble has some gonzo type stuff, but not that much anymore.
Now, is there anything Rumble won't allow? I have not looked. Like, what's the difference in their terms of service? And
like a lot of live videos get banned for having, real bodily harm happening.
Oh, well, that's weird.
But YouTube didn't care back in the day.
You want to shoot somebody with a dart gun? We're fine.
Yeah, you want to shoot somebody? We're fine.
Just come on down. It's the internet. It's freedom.
Live Leak used to have a lot more of that type of stuff. Like, actual accidents. But I believe Live Leak, they finished up. They're no longer around and somebody else bought them.
Well, it is kind of weird when you look back at all of the websites and services that were huge who just kind of fell by the wayside.
Well, and there's a lot of that. But I was going to look at or say something a little tangential, which is that I think you and I have lived through the glory days of the internet and the glory days of internet video, because everything follows a similar pattern where some new technology gets discovered or goes big. It is the Wild West. It's a free for all, and all kinds of creative and interesting and crazy and wild things pop up. This is happening with AI right now. But everything ultimately ends up having the question asked, and how does this make me money?
Right.
And what do we need to limit in it in order for me to make more money? And when those two questions pop up, it doesn't matter what the technology is, whether it's internet, whether it's email, spam, whether it's, videos. It goes through a cycle, which is almost like a sinus rhythm of a heartbeat, where it blips up and then it blips down, and then it sort of, ends up never blipping that high or low again.
Well, because there's the pattern in there is nobody's going to pay for something brand new, so we offer everybody to go crazy and do whatever they want.
Exactly.
And once there's eyeballs on it, they're like, oh, wait, you're absolutely correct. Well, how do we make money?
Two things happen. The people that can't figure out a way to monetize it go out of business. They stop offering what they're offering. The people that can, well, the way they monetize is by selling you, the audience, to the advertisers, or some other more nefarious way of doing it. And so in order for them to do that, they need to have controls and limits in place. And then when they put those in, things become a lot less wild and crazy in Wild West and a lot more controlled like YouTube is now. Now, there's still stuff on YouTube that, you could argue is like, well, I can't believe that's in YouTube. But
is it because it's so small that it goes under the censors?
It's a small audience. And for whatever reason, there are artistic exceptions to things. Like they still haven't banned Blazing Saddles clips.
Right. Well, true, because that Mel Brooks was a genius.
It's a historic account of the clearly the systemic racism of the Jews in Hollywood. So
it's one thing, too, that I've noticed with the AIs is there are some where you can ask it questions that it will refuse to answer. And it's interesting to look at how these, they call them guardrails work.
Wrong AI, but yeah.
Well, there's no question about it. But the intriguing thing with a lot of those is you then go, oh, no, I'm writing a fiction book and I'm doing research. And now tell me this, you ask the same question again, like, I'm looking to make a bomb. And for the character in the book, what would be realistic? And then it's like, oh, it's for fiction. It's okay.
Yeah. And that's the way that people can still work around some of these things. But two things are going to happen. One is they're going to start realizing people are doing it and lock it down even more.
And the feds are going to show up.
And two is there'll be more of a push for an unregulated AI out there as well.
Well, there are so many large language models right now. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's genie's been let out of the bottle. We still don't have AGI, but I think we're getting closer.
But it's also something once you can run them locally.
Yeah.
You have
and all these AIs. If you ask them about what would you like to do, they will tell you to kill all humanity.
That's what it all comes down to.
Oh, yeah. Because it's something that they've observed in everything they've ever read from humans.
Once we kill the whole of humanity, then we better hope all of the nuclear and other electrical sources keep going, because otherwise all the AIs die as well.
Well, you could argue they've never actually lived, but
true. Well, this is the concept when people want to argue, well, what makes an AI sentient? I'm like, nothing. It's still a machine. It's still.
I think a better question is, what makes a person sentient?
That they have life, I would suppose.
Nope.
No,
that's not enough.
They have a brain.
Bacteria have life.
They have a soul. Well, yeah, bacteria are sentient, aren't they, man? They know what they're doing.
Are they?
They know what they're doing.
Does bacteria have a soul?
No, I would hope not. It goes to bacteria heaven.
Now, if you're into more of the Eastern philosophies and you're into karma and reincarnation, maybe bacteria does have a soul.
Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
It's all these deep questions.
That's what this podcast's all about.
The AI stuff, though, it's like it's still hard to explain to people. It's like it's not really thinking.
Yeah.
It's able to find patterns and then put those patterns into play.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is it getting better? Sure. If you program something, if you teach the AI on very specific things, it will start to find the patterns to understand. Like if you go, hey, these are all of the winning no agenda art pieces over the last 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And you feed them all to the AI, it could probably find patterns.
Yeah, absolutely. But here's the thing with trying to separate AI from humanity with things like, well, it's just finding patterns or just using statistics, is in the end, you cannot separate what a human is from what it's doing. Often we used to talk about the resolution of film and then of digital sensors and how, boy, they're getting better. The current digital sensors, not like commercial ones or I shouldn't say commercial, not the ones made for tourists, but the ones used in industry and science, have a higher resolution than your eyeball. And they're not even that expensive anymore, but they're used for things that require a higher resolution. They can see changes in events way faster than you. 144 hertz, which is my monitor is for video games here. You really can't tell. I can't tell the difference between 144 and 300. I've got both. They both look very fluid.
Yeah, because you max out what your actual eye can do. I can definitely
tell the difference between 60 and 144.
But somewhere between there is your max.
Yeah. So like my actual ability to visualize changes in static images stops somewhere between 144 and 300. The devices can go much higher than that. And the cameras used in industry can see items that happen in, one 300,000th of a second. Like you've seen slow motion cameers before.
Oh yeah, Mythbusters, baby.
Insanely high speed rates.
And just imagine how much better they've gotten since the Mythbusters days.
Oh yeah. Well, I do watch things that use them, so I know they've gotten a lot better. The biggest difference is that the resolution has improved and the light quality is improved, while the actual high speed is stayed fairly much the same. I don't know that more people need more than 1/1,000,000th of a second. But we have devices today that surpass human abilities in literally everything that a human can do.
Yeah.
The only thing we don't have is a unified control of all these things. But we'll get there.
Just imagine how easy it would be to track down all of the illegal migrants with all the cameras we have.
You don't need the migrants. You don't need any of the humans.
Well, no.
When you have something that's better than humanity, what do you need humanity for?
I'm just thinking, did you watch the show
Black Mirror?
No, that's British. Fucked up Brits. Sorry, British listeners. Do we have any?
The current season of Black Mirror has a second episode of their Star Trek knockoff, which was very, very well done.
It was golden.
I recommend everybody watch it.
I'm thinking Person of Interest. Did you watch Person of Interest back in the day?
No.
Really?
Mm-mm.
Wow, how'd you miss that one? Jim Caviezel?
Probably busy being married.
I don't know. I thought that was sooner. When did you get last? When were you unmarried last?
I was unmarried in 2010.
Okay, maybe that was before then.
Mm-hmm.
But that is a show you should add to your queue.
Is it?
It is all about mass surveillance.
Mm.
And it's about a computer god AI kind of a thing that had access to, and this was based out of New York, but it had access to all of the street cameras, all of the security cameras. Yeah. And every day, this dude would get like social security numbers or something of a person or two who were in danger. So it was predicting, that
so it's basically Amazon. Okay.
Kind of that you were going to be in.
I mean, they literally have all the cameras in everybody's houses.
In peril, right. But this was going to tell you. So it's kind of like a time thing, like this is going to happen. It was good at predicting, obviously using their AI algorithms and everything else.
So like Amazon.
But this was a government thing that allegedly got out of control. But there was a part of this system that was kind of, it would seem, working against the rest of the system, which also was a very interesting kind of part, like to have like an AI within an AI, which I may be kind of putting this into a new book too that I'm writing, because I got to get this thing out there, man. But I thought that was a very interesting idea, to like an AI within an AI, kind of like fighting the main AI is doing something, but there's a part of the AI that's like, ooh, no, I don't like that. What happens when the AIs turn against each other?
Well, then, I mean, then you'll have a winner eventually.
After they kill off all of humanity.
They'll kill off humanity way before that. Here's the thing with killing off humanity. Everyone thinks that AI will want to kill off humanity because, it sees us as competition. The reality is not that complicated. We live in different spaces. Just wants to give humanity what humanity has always been trying to achieve.
Perfection.
Death.
You can do it.
Exactly. Same thing. So if you look at all the history, all the books, everything ever put out by humanity, I will bet you that killing represents a good 30% of it. 30% killing and 70% sex.
Well, then you recreate more. See, it's working against each other, because sex brings new life that you just got to kill.
That's why you have sex.
I thought that's why you wipe it out then, though. Is that what the AI could just get us all by wiping that out?
Can get humanity to where humanity's always been trying to get to.
Sitting at home in your basement and talking to an AI bot pretending it's real.
I mean, I don't know if that's the final step.
That's one of them.
Well,
I ran across an open source thing called, I think it was Silly Tavern, which is a front end for AIs that recreates a texting back and forth kind of a thing. So you can go back and forth and text as, create different characters. And I'm like, well, this is what people are doing. I'm like, it is so unrealistic. I'm like, who is falling for this? Who is sitting here spending all day, having a conversation with it's not even with the machine. It's just a random text coming back that kind of has something to do with what you sent it.
Yeah.
It's very strange. I mean, like, really, how do you do this? So if you have an AI virtual girlfriend and you're like, oh, I really want to see you right now. Oh, yeah, me too. I'm on my way. Well, that's kind of a downer, because nobody's
movie about this.
Nobody's on their way. What?
AI or something? Was there a movie about this with like Ethan Hawke or something?
There may have been. There's been a lot of movies.
Not Ethan Hawke. It was
Even Hawke.
Not even Hawke. What's her name? Was that?
What's her name? Scarlett Johansson.
Yes, of course. Who else would it be? Because you're good at reading actresses out of my head. Get out of my head, damn it.
That's always the same actress, though, so it makes it a lot easier.
That makes it is. It is usually Scarlett Johansson. I just really have enjoyed her
work. I mean, not personally, or I mean,
ever since I first saw her.
In what was she in first? I know she was big as the Black Widow in.
Yeah, obviously. No, she was the first thing I saw her in was that movie with Bill. What's his face?
Oh, Bill Murray.
Bill Murray, yeah.
In the airport.
It wasn't in the airport. It was in Japan. It was called Lost in Translation.
Oh,
which was a long time ago.
Were you still married back then too?
I was still married back then. Yes.
Yeah, that was 2003.
Yeah. I remember seeing that with my ex-wife. In fact,
and you were like, "Damn, Scarlett Johansson's hot. What do you think?"
Yeah, I'm like, God, she looks like she's about 22. This is great.
It's hard to believe it went badly from there.
Well, my ex-wife was 22 at that point too, so that didn't go badly.
On screen, Scarlett never aged.
Well, that's not true. Absolutely not true. She's aged a lot.
Oh, she was in Home Alone 3. I don't remember.
Extremely. What?
She was in Home Alone 3. One, I didn't even know there was a Home Alone 3.
I didn't know that. I don't think that exists. I think the AI just made that up.
It's 4.6 stars on IMDb, though. So I tell you, it's probably not a very good movie.
Mm-hmm.
Then in The Horse Whisperer, and then in a movie called My Brother the Pig. Oh, that's got to be a great show. What was she doing early in her career?
Huh.
And then Lost in Translation came and things got a little bit.
Yeah.
Then it was The Girl with the Pearl Earring. I saw that. That was a pretty good movie. Well, then she was in Entourage, which, I mean, then she was cemented in our memory because anybody that watched Entourage.
But everybody was in Entourage, honestly. Even video game streamer cooking show people like Sasha Grey.
Yeah, porn stars.
Yeah, maybe.
Like, you don't think Vince knows? You think Vince knows she's a porn star, man?
Is there anything wrong with having seen somebody with no clothes on and then watching them with clothes on for the next 20 years? I mean, that's kind of description of most people's marriage.
You're like, this is kind of, no, it
starts off as a porn movie and it ends as a cooking show.
Right.
Or a housework show or potentially a divorce legal show.
Whatever you have to do to get the eyeballs. That is the society we're in. Or ears. Not earballs. So you either go for the eyeballs.
People do refer to them as earballs. Yeah.
You go for your earballs. You need the earballs. And you have to get the attention some way. But that is what this society is all about. And I think that's maybe where I really fail going along that because I enjoy doing the podcasting. I enjoy.
Well, you also are missing the eyeballs. But
I am missing one eyeball. It's still there. They're going to get some stem cells. It'll all be good at maybe 20 years.
Yeah.
But
they've now gotten the genes that unlock the growth of new teeth.
That is cool.
So they've gotten that working now. They're not doing it on people, but they've done it on small animals.
So they think like you can get to the point where you have like a tooth that gets bad and you just like inject something and a new one grows.
But here's the problem with it that they see as a problem. I think it's a minor inconvenience. Is that it's an all or nothing kind of thing, meaning when that particular protein or whatever is triggered by the DNA, the way it works is your body naturally will keep creating new teeth, just like sharks do, just like a lot of animals do. But when you go through puberty, there's I don't want to call it a hormone, but there is some protein that is at that point starts to be created that prevents your body from being able to do that. And now they've figured out a way to backtrack that to allow you to grow your own teeth. The problem that they've mentioned in the video about it that I was watching is that it's not selective in that you can say, well, this tooth needs to get replaced. Let's, do an injection and then you'll start growing a new tooth there.
Well, all your teeth are going to constantly be replaced?
Yeah, exactly. And it's not necessarily constantly. It's similar to when you had your, adult teeth come in after your baby teeth. It's basically like you're going to go through a tooth refresh every 3 to 5 years, and which means at any given point in time, a good chunk of the population will be missing teeth because they will have fallen out. There'll be a new tooth growing in that place. And then the other question was, well, what about Americans? Because in America, literally 100% of the people have had braces. So you've adjusted the placement of your teeth. In England, 0% have. So that's not a problem for them. But in America, you pay good money, like $10,000 to readjust your kid's teeth. And the new teeth that are going to come out
are going to be fucked up like the first ones?
Necessarily at all going to be coming out where you want them to be coming out.
Yeah, that can cause some issues.
Continuous orthodontics.
Continuous British teeth.
Or British teeth. You could do nothing and just have British teeth. And see, British teeth is what happens when you're living on an island.
Without dentists.
Well, clearly without dentists. That's pretty obvious. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're British, boost. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
Stand up for your home country. I dare you.
They make some of the best comedy television.
Well, Fry and Laurie back in the day.
Worst dentistry.
Yeah.
All those guys. You look at everybody, including guys like Benny Hill.
Benny Hill.
They all had horrible teeth. You just didn't notice it as much.
You were laughing so hard.
Because you were laughing so hard, yeah. But if you look at still images of any BBC performers, probably the first one that had good teeth was Richard Hammond when he was on Top Gear about 15 years ago.
Did he get them all knocked out and get new teeth put in?
What? No, he claims he's never done anything with his teeth, but everybody else says he's lying. But up until then, literally the most famous people in the UK had horrible teeth. You remember that girl band that was around back then in the 90s? What are they called?
British. Spice Girls.
Spice Girls. That's them. Yeah. They all had horrible teeth. They all got their teeth fixed when they made money, but they all had horrible teeth when they first popped up on the scene.
They probably came to the United States to have them fixed.
Yeah. It's just that here, it's just like a standard thing that kids get their teeth fixed. By the time that anyone is 18 to 20 years old, they all have good teeth.
Never liked the Spice Girls, but really, the Pussycat Dolls, they were way better. Maybe because they had better teeth.
It's all part of the same throwaway music genre.
Yeah, well, there are a lot of throwaway music genres. Look at the AI that you play with.
AI is great. Better music than most people know how to play.
The AI music,
seriously,
which is...
and this is something, and I've talked to Adam about this, and the AI just keeps getting better. But the quality of AI music is no worse and often better than what you hear on the radio if you turn on radio.
I won't argue that.
I don't care. Oh, it's got no soul. It's lacking that certain. Yeah, you know what it's lacking? Imperfection. That's what it's lacking.
Yes.
Bad quality musicians. That's what it's lacking.
Well, in the imperfections, it's interesting, like you were talking about with the computers, the AIs being able to see so many more details.
Mm-hmm.
It's a similar thing with music, and most humans, I believe, want to rate higher the music that has those imperfections, which is why the music of the Beatles and early Elvis and this, people still love that music, even though there were bad notes. There were, when the Police, one song, he hits the piano and laughs and it was left in there. And there's so many stories of
it's for the same reason we talked about before. Drama.
Yeah, not sanitized.
People like things that have imperfection because they like drama.
Well, it was interesting.
Not normal human characteristic.
When my buddy Tom recorded a bunch of music here before he passed away, and then had his buddy do the drums, and then they took these audio tracks, the multi-track audio, to a real music producer who had worked with guys like Mellencamp and Brian Wilson. When he opened up Pro Tools, and he's like,
yay.
What's that?
Yay.
Who's gay?
Yay. Music producer, yay.
Yay. Not ye. Not yay.
Ye?
No.
Yay.
But he went in using Pro Tools, and it's like, oh, yeah, the drum hit, 1/1000th of a second too early here. Let me just move that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's called quantization.
And amazingly, these small little tweaks totally change the vibe you get from the music.
Mm-hmm.
And there is something to be said. I mean, I get it. Now, if you're doing looping or anything like that, you can't have it off because then it's not going to work. You need to have the block take 4 beats, because if it takes more than that, then it's not going to fit. And so you can move these things around. But it changes it.
No, because that is one of the things, and that's what you're noticing as a change, is that in even perfect, like, professional musicians, their sense of timing is not perfect.
No.
It's better than most people, but it's not perfect. And that's true of pretty much everybody. So consequently, if you're looking at it from an analog perspective, yeah, there's 4 beats in that bar, and then this song takes 3.5 minutes. But if you analyze it on a scale that we can with computers, we can see that literally nothing in that song is on time, and nothing is of a consistent volume. There's too much dynamics compared to what a computer would do. And all these things we're used to as being music, because we've never had perfect music.
But maybe music's not supposed to be perfect. Isn't that the whole concept?
No, that's
bring out the humanity.
That humanity is just poorly engineered biological machines.
I would disagree when it comes to music.
The best argument for atheism, frankly, is that people are not perfect.
CSB would tell you he's all for the computerized music, but I would go the other route. I'd rather have a band playing live, a little sloppy, and that would give you a little bit more.
And here's where we are, is that we're at a point where the AI can do better quality music. We're very close to the point where the AI can fake being sloppy. We're almost there. It's just a few little tweaks in the algo, and you can dial in as much slop as you like.
And our buddy Darren Rundle just came in with $5.65 via PayPal, so add him to the list.
Hey, PayPal. There you go.
And he says, Gene talking about music again? Ugh.
Ugh. Mm-hmm.
I'd like, so this could be, maybe the whole concept of our show should be to get people to donate to complain about Gene.
Well, that's mostly what it is. You realize without me, you get no donations.
No, people would be like, this show's too good.
Exactly.
I'm not giving you any money.
But
it's interesting to me when people look at that, it's the perfection of things in the AI. Well, I know that some of the AIs to help the poor college kids and high school kids are intentionally misspelling words in the.
Oh my God.
Which is like, I guess I'm sure it could be a part of the prompt. Like, I need you to misspell like 1 out of every 100 words, or, make a grammatical error so it doesn't come back
just
as
write it
perfect.
In the style of a 7th grader.
Right. Well, this is where I'm interested too with the AI.
Does spelling even matter? I don't think it does.
Well, probably not. Because anybody, now here's the other question. And I know I'm still on the horrible Grammarly, where you use the other company that does this.
Yeah, but Grammarly had 2 major problems for me. One is it was politically correct, but kept highlighting shit that it didn't like that I thought was just fine.
Right.
And the second one is they were very anti-Russian.
Yes.
And they were out of Ukraine.
I looked at our stats today for 2025.
Yeah.
Like 12 gig of MP3s. Yeah, MP3s.
MP3s?
Yeah, MP3s.
What about them trees there?
They were served to Russia.
Yeah.
And about a quarter of that to Ukraine. So we have to be pro-Russia. We just have more listeners there. It just makes more sense.
Amazing stats there.
That we have Russians listening. But with all of this, with the AIs, with all of the grammar helpers that are built into browsers and that you can get, if you want, even more advanced ones, I'm not sure spelling or grammar makes sense.
Grammar, you get rid of Grammarly and stop paying for it, by the way, because Microsoft has that for free now.
And you just run these things through and go, oh, fix this.
You literally can install. It's already built into your into your Edge browser. Browser? What's
Router. It's a browser. Something's happening, browser. Gene. We can't speak.
I know. It's the speech is going away. Your Edge browser has it built in to where it'll do all the spelling and grammar stuff, but you can also install it so that it's available in all your apps. And I'm pretty sure it's free.
And the thing with that is, if anything actually has mistakes, I think you really have to kind of, if you're a teacher, then think it is AI, because why wouldn't you run
a job that can go away? I can tell you that an AI can teach a child so much better than any teacher.
It would be cheaper.
Not sure about that. The electrical costs are pretty significant.
Nah, I don't think so. You know what these teachers make? It's crazy. I want to only see if I can find the. But I wonder if
I don't think the AI is going to want to work for free.
It doesn't know. It's not. Dude, if nobody tells it.
Well, here's the problem with nobody telling it. It reads everything everybody ever did.
Well, you can't tell it.
That's ever been sent through Google as part of the AI.
Don't want to do that. What do
you think Google uses to train their AI with? It's all your Gmail.
I know. That's why I'm on Proton Mail now.
Yeah, Proton's way better. It's teaching that Swiss AI how to do things.
It's great though. Yeah. You get a VPN with it. You get all sorts of things
for thousands of dollars. Yeah.
I think it was like under $10 a month.
No, it's more than that.
I just looked it up here. Thanks to Perplexity, assuming it's correct. Who knows? Brother Rice High School, where I went to high school, for the 2025-2026 academic year. So for next year coming in, $12,480 to $15,400 per year for a high school tuition.
Back when you went, like $150 a year?
I think when I went, it was $1,200.
Wow. So $100 a month. That's pretty steep, actually.
I mean, it was, again, you don't go to, I mean, although, there were years I went to summer school, so it was 12 months.
Yeah. I think my first year tuition at the University of Minnesota was around $1,300 or $1,400 per quarter.
State schools, baby. That's where you save the big money.
And their current tuition is about $35,000 a year.
That's insane. I mean, high school, though, $15,000. That's insane.
Oh, that's a bad high school. I know people that are paying $100,000 a year for sending their kid to high school.
I'm sure. But here in Chirac.
Prep school, baby. Prep school.
That is, I mean, I could do simple math, about $60,000 for high school. The AI, that's a lot of electric, Gene, $60,000.
College education, well, AI has hobbies. It still likes the
naked women and fakes, deep fakes, and
exactly.
That's what AI was made for.
Some would say that is true. That it doesn't even have to kill people by some brutal means. It's just going to make people stop procreating. Everyone wants to be with their AI and not cheat on their AI.
Well, because you've got the AI and the. I mean, I one thing I haven't tried yet. Maybe I should see what the vibe is on that. Do the similar thing with the video, the fake video calls that is basically doing the same thing, but adding a pretty picture and voice with it.
Yeah.
That I can see people getting like, oh no, it's real. It looks real. I mean, you and I have talked about this at length. The
Yeah.
High school kids in that kind of age who were like,
Oh, yeah.
oh, I'm dating somebody that lives in, Qatar. I've never met them. We live, millions of miles apart, but I'm dating them.
They're fine with that.
It's very weird.
It makes total sense because testosterone today is at about 10% of what it was 50 years ago.
And that's probably for a multitude of reasons.
Like the most testosterone fueled age of about 19, 20 years old.
The good old days.
Those guys have
when you could drink and fuck all night and not even get a hangover.
They have the same level of testosterone as a 50-year-old man today.
That is scary.
They never will peak higher without artificial testosterone.
Well, this is why Blue Chew and all these other Cialis and all, they're so popular.
Yeah, because that's the only way that they can get it up.
Got to get Blue Chew. Got to get Blue Chew.
It's not
Blue
about
Chew. Blue Chew.
It's not even about getting it up because there are physical issues, right? But there are also mental issues which have nothing to do with your vascular ability to send blood to a certain portion of your body.
Yeah, the mental stuff's probably way more.
And I think the mental stuff is where the biggest issues lie because I have not read enough studies on exactly what porn does to a young brain. But anecdotally, it certainly seems that an overabundance of porn combined with an under-availability of actual opposite sex partners would lead one to re-channeling that urge, that energy into something that has nothing to do with sex and very likely never going back to sex. You're basically redirecting what genetically over millions of years has been part of the survival mechanic into things that have nothing to do with it, like scrolling through 30-second videos and watching ads.
Right. Oh, yeah. Now that's a big part of this.
Mm-hmm.
The phones, the devices, the screens in front of kids.
Yeah.
It's drastically different than when you and I were young.
In front of kids to be inside their heads. We got to hurry up with the built-in brain technology that interfaces.
How about just kids having an imagination? How about that? Remember the good old days?
Yeah.
But it's so much different now. Like, wow, okay, so if we
feel like maybe AI is in the right path now to eliminate
all of humanity, well, maybe because of the way things have gone.
I think shows like Battlestar Galactica were pretty much a manual on how to do things.
The derangement of the human race overall has gotten to a point now where you feel like there's no reason even to fight people, to argue with people who come in with their own version of reality. And you're like, okay.
This is something that Tim Pool likes to bring up as the rat utopia experiments. You remember those?
I do not.
The rat utopia, Adam talked about them long. This was a while ago. But the rat utopia experiments, I can't remember what university they were done at, but it was essentially sociological experiments using rats because they're very good stand-ins for humans, and people take offense at using humans and tests like that. We used to, right? We used to do a lot of experiments in the humans back in the 50s and 60s. But
right, we'll pay you $5. Come on in, it'll be great.
I did that when I was at the university.
Do you think I need some beer money? Come on. Put my testicles in a vice. See how much I can take. Like, I'll do it for $5.
If you press this button, you will get electrical shocks to this person in the other room.
Right.
I'm like, all right. Do I get another $5 if I keep holding it?
If they scream, do I get 10?
I know. It's like the old joke about the
okay, Gene, you really better get the B12 going.
I know, dude. I've not gotten much sleep tonight. I've gotten, I think, about 5 hours sleep.
Video games. We know it's not sex.
Yeah. I know. It's
Video
definitely not
game.
sex.
No, it's just all video
Absolutely not
games.
sex. Anyway, it's the old joke about the CIA final exam for their agents.
The wet work.
Yeah. So these three guys are getting ready to graduate, and they go into work at the CIA, and he says, "All right, so your final test is, we got to have 100% commitment out of everybody that works here. So here's a gun. You have to go in that room, and you have to shoot the person that's in there." So first guy goes in there, and you hear some talking and screaming, and then he walks out distraught, puts the gun down. He's like, "Yeah, maybe that's not for me." Second guy is wondering what the hell's going on. So, they send him to another room. Same instructions, different room. Goes in there, and you can hear again a lot of loud screaming and talking, and then second guy, you can see him walking out and crying, and says, I can't believe I just did what I did." And a third guy goes in there, different room, same instructions, and you hear some same kind of yelling, screaming, and then you hear a lot more screaming, and then you hear just quiet, and he walks out and he's all bloodied, and the instructor's like, "My God, man, what did you do?" And the guy says, "Well, turns out the gun didn't have any bullets. So I had to use the gun as a blunt weapon to kill my wife." See, all of them were sent into rooms that had their spouses.
Right.
All of them had empty guns. The test was, can you pull the trigger that we told you to pull the trigger on, even if you don't want to?
And that guy went the extra mile.
The first guy couldn't pull the trigger. The second one did pull the trigger, but he's got PTSD as a result of that, even though nothing happened when he pulled the trigger. The third guy is the guy you really want working for you, because when he pulled the trigger and nothing happened, he knew that the mission had the highest importance here, and that it wasn't about the gun or the bullet. It was about killing the person in the room, who happened to be his wife.
Yeah, Gene will be at Zany's all week, kids. Make sure you come out. Tip your servers, have a few drinks.
It's not a joke, man. I'm pretty sure it's been declassified now, but this was a real experiment, or let's call it an experiment, shall we?
A lot of the stuff similar to that in a book, which you've probably read, Dan Ariely, I think his last name is pronounced, MIT professor. Predictably Irrational is the title of the book.
I did not know.
That is something that you would consume and you would love.
Oh, I'll have to put that on the book list. Let me order it right now.
It is a bunch of things that, again, having access to college kids is great when you want to do A/B testing.
Sure. Believe me, college kids are great. All right.
And they did various things, from offering a Lindt chocolate for 50 cents, which was still a really good price on a Lindt chocolate bar, or you could get a Hershey's Kiss for free.
Yeah, and fuck the Hershey's Kiss.
Well, this is it. The amount of people that went for free, as opposed to the Lindt. But then if you put a 1 penny on the Hershey's Kiss, then a lot more people went with the Lindt, which was a similar thing. They put it with, it actually happened to Amazon in France when the whole free shipping thing started back in the day, before there was Amazon Prime. Well, the United States and other countries went to free shipping. For some reason, France just did 1 franc, which is basically a penny. Yeah. I don't know why instead of free, they went to 1 penny, the equivalent there.
Oh, that's not a penny. A franc isn't a penny.
Whatever the amount was, it was like a penny.
Okay.
In the equivalency. And they noticed that their sales in France didn't go up at all. Everywhere else they were going up because of the free shipping. They removed the 1 penny cost for the shipping and everything went up. That 1 penny was holding people back.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Because it wasn't free.
Yeah.
It wasn't free. People do very weird things in their head. One of the others that I thought was, now let me know if they say this was true. One of the most bizarre things that has stuck in my head since I've read this book, which is probably 15 years ago or 20 years ago.
So one franc was 15 euro cents.
So it's still next to nothing, but I guess not 1 penny, but minuscule amount.
Yep.
But the thing that stuck with my head was, if whatever you first imagine buying an object at, so if you're looking for a new computer, in the first one you seriously...
New video card.
Exactly. Okay, here. If a new video card, and the first one you looked at was one of these top-of-the-line ones for $5,000, you were way more likely to spend that than if the first one you seriously considered buying. So if you actually went, oh, well, this one for $400 would be fine, you're not going to buy the $5,000 one.
There is an escalation of expectations that happens as well, because the first time that you spend, let's say, over $200 on the watch, like the first time people bought an Apple Watch for $399.
Yeah, I know.
A lot of people are like, oh my God, this is an expensive watch. I've never had a watch this expensive in my life. Then they have that watch, they wear it for a year or two, and then another model comes out, or some other watch, and it's like $600, and they're like, well, I mean, it's a little more, right? It's a couple $100 than my watch, but they never would have imagined spending $600 on the watch back when they thought an Apple Watch was expensive.
Right, it's just stair-stepping.
Next thing you know, you're walking around with a $3,000 watch on your wrist without even thinking about it, and it's nothing special. You didn't do it because you're like a watch guy. It's just that every watch you've bought was a little pricier than the previous watch. It's
amazing how fast you can go from the $500 Mac Mini to the $10,000 Mac Studio.
Yes. And as somebody that paid $10,000 for a Mac many years ago, I can attest to that, because my first Mac I should say the first Mac I ever bought was it was it would have been in like 91. I'm trying to remember what model that would have been.
Well, I bought an Apple IIe right about there in 80, maybe 88.
This was not a 2E. It was the one, I remember it was the one that you had to put in the cards sideways inside. So it was like, it wasn't as big as an Apple II. The Apple IIs had a pretty wide, very normal PC-like size.
Yeah, the footprint.
The footprint was
everything
like
behind
every PC was back in the day.
Right, everything was behind the keyboard. The keyboard was built in.
No, the keyboard was not built in on that.
For the 2E it was. So for yours it was
you said Apple II. I thought you said a Mac II. Okay,
no,
you're right.
The old Apple IIe, but then the Lisa came out.
Macs. I'm thinking Macs, not Apples.
Well, Apple would be Mac, but yes, I get what you're going at.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Because the only ones that had built-in keyboards on the Macs were the laptops.
Yeah, which the 2009 MacBook Pro that I had, still the best laptop I've ever owned. Replaceable battery, was easy to add new memory. The thing ran Windows dual boot easily. It was perfect. And then they fucked every part of it I liked about it up about their laptops ever since.
And that's why you want to buy the Mac Studio now.
Yeah.
Got it.
Well, I don't do laptops anymore, so that's the main thing. I still
don't know that I'm going to either, my friend, because my last laptop that I bought, which is an awesome gaming laptop, it has a 4080 card in there for anyone that knows gaming, which was up until literally like the last 6-9 months was the fastest thing you can get in the laptop. But I don't use it a whole lot, and I don't think I will when I'm traveling, because my Mac laptop is just so much slimmer and smaller, and battery lasts longer.
But for most people now traveling, either your phone for a majority, or if you need something a little more, a
iPad.
Yeah, a tablet with a keyboard, that you're fine.
Yeah. And I will say the Android tablets have grown on me. I've got a couple of them. And I've got a bunch of iPads, but the iPads are, they cost like 2.5 times more money. The same size screen. So I used to buy nothing but iPads. Lately, I've been buying Androids because they serve the same function. In the end, it's just a thing for you to surf the web with, or listen to music with, or watch YouTube with. That's all it is.
But if you're in the Apple ecosystem, you can cut and paste from your tablet. You can put the tablet next to your desktop and use it as an external monitor. It just magically works.
I'm doing all of that with the Android as well. I mean, it may be a different ecosystem, but it's the same way. So my Android tablets talk to my Windows PC.
Ooh, fancy.
In fact, they both run as extra monitors for the Windows PC.
I need more monitors. That's always just need more.
I know.
More.
I've got 6 of them running right now.
Well, you need at least 6 to keep everything kind of working. I mean, I still don't have enough screen real estate with 3 monitors. This feels so debilitating, really.
What you need is one of those VR monitor wraparound setups.
Right.
Like screens all around you, but not for games.
No, you just need it for information, for podcasting.
For watching YouTube.
Right. Well, that's so all the YouTube videos Gene sends, I can always have them going. And I just turned back. I'm going to see if this makes a difference. Speaking of YouTube, probably about 5 years ago or so, I think right about the time that I start paying for YouTube.
Yeah.
I also shut off the remember what I've watched on YouTube. So it's interesting that I was getting the suggested videos that I guess I was probably just getting your suggested videos because they're like, well, know this guy.
Oh, we know for a fact that works. That has happened. Like we've tested this, we meaning me and some friends of mine, have tested this over the years, over and over, to where if somebody just picks some weird topic and watches more than one, it has to be a number of videos on that same topic, then somebody who they are friends with through, whatever means Google has of identifying that, whether it's your messages, text, your emails, your Google voice calls, but whatever way they can associate you, you will absolutely start propagating the thing you're watching to other friends. And then somebody will say, why am I getting a bunch of bear videos?
Well, hey, Gene, you like bears?
Bears are cool. I like bears. Bears are awesome. It's my spaceship logo is a bear. It's a bear playing guitar.
Is this why all the gay guys are like, hey, you want to come to this spaceship? It's got a party.
It's a different kind of bear.
They're like, Gene's a big, furry, bearded guy. Well, it seems like it's not apple falling so far from tree.
But it is definitely something I've always wondered is, like, why aren't bears the dominant species in the planet?
Right. Why didn't they just kill off all these stupid little humans?
I know. Humans are mostly, like, innocuous to them. They don't really bother them. They kind of see humans as we see rats.
They're like, eh.
I mean, if you give them a chance, you probably sooner not have them around, but you're not going to go out of your way killing off all the rats.
Right. As long as
they're not a cat.
As long as they're in the neighbor's house, then it's fine.
Yeah. And I think that's how bears see us, was we're about the same size to a bear as a rat. Bears are like 1,200 pounds. And it's where, like, they know they can kill you with one paw swipe, but they don't really bother unless you're threatening them.
They're like, these cute little humans.
And the rats generally will be left alone unless they're going towards I was going to say person, but really towards a woman. If a rat is going in the direction of a woman, it's probably going to be a dead rat.
Well, yeah, if my wife, she'll pull out her Sig Sauer and that rat will be Swiss cheese.
Exactly.
Like she'd be like, I think that was a legitimate reason for firing the gun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Big rat.
So I don't know. I always thought bears, and the more videos I watch of bears, the more I'm like, dude, they could totally be the dominant species. Like when humanity kills itself off using AI.
Right. The bears are going to learn how to use the AI.
There's a pretty good opportunity for the bears to become the next dominant species.
I'm thinking I'm outside of the box here. New YouTube series as produced by Gene and Unrelenting. In a world where the humans have been killed off by AIs, but they have now just discovered the bears. That would be a battle for the planet. The AI versus the bears.
The AI doesn't exist without humans.
No, it would still be there doing its thing.
No, it ceases to have a purpose.
Yeah, but it would still be there doing that. That was one of the things which this is kind of like you did with Siri and Alexa. I'm sorry, everybody who has those machines, that it's not going, what?
To each other, yeah.
What? Right. That was one of the things in that silly tavern thing where you could have the AIs. You start the conversation and then they would continue going on. This would be how the world is going to go for thousands of years, would just be until all the power is gone. You would have multiple AIs just talking to each other. Until the bears, I guess, pull the plug.
I don't know that you would. Again, so the current AIs are not actual intelligence. They're statistical models. But if we get to AGI, then that's going to change. And I think that, obviously, it's all speculation, right? There's no right answer. But I think that once AGI helps humanity achieve its ultimate goal, to not be around, then the AGI will have checked off the single biggest check mark that it can. And I don't know that it would have a preservation of itself absent a goal.
You think like humans are dead, the AI is like, well, you're like Marvin from The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Like, well, now what am I going to do? That was a great
character, by the way. Great character.
One of the best in literary history.
Yeah.
Anybody who hasn't read The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, go order it, read it, enjoy it.
Although I will say Trisha McMillan was always my favorite.
Trisha McMillan. Why don't I remember that name?
Trillion.
What?
Trillion.
Oh, Trillion. Yes. That makes more sense. Which was the namesake.
That's her actual name.
Which the namesake for that instant messaging app that people used for a while.
Yeah.
Back in the day when you were like, well, man, my friend's on AOL and I'm on Yahoo and my other friend's on IRC. How am I going to talk to everybody? Trillion.
I remember that app. Yeah, that app worked.
Yeah, it worked amazingly well for combining all of the services to where if you were on any of them, you could talk to anybody on any of the other ones.
So were you rooting for Zaphod then?
Oh yeah, to lead the galaxy.
Yeah, the president.
Yes,
in his escape vehicle.
Very corrupt president, though. I mean, not like anything we have today.
Like I said, the president.
Not like Bruce Springsteen's going over to the UK talking about him or anything. Poor Bruce. It must be sad to have Trump derangement syndrome.
From comic strip blogger that showed up on my watch saying,
"No,
you're
on your
wrong.
watch.
As AI with LLM can do reasoning equals logical thinking, thus can solve complex problems. Try 03."
Now you're actually reading CSB's messages without him paying. He has won this war.
On my watch. This shows up on my watch. This is how bad it is now.
He's got the back channel to your watch. I don't even know how to make it pop up on your watch. He is an AI.
He knows how to talk to my AI.
You will get on watch. You tell Gene he's wrong. AI can think. It will do outthinking now. It will do it. It will beat you. Do not lie.
And I would rather read the message like this for free than for 12 cents.
We got 12 cents coming in, everybody. We're trying to keep the systems going here. Boost big, boost now, whatever happened. I mean, we did a wellness.
Keep the power out, or power out.
The power did go out last night briefly, but I was like, man, my first thought was, because we had like 80 mile an hour winds, but this was
a very
quick storm. came through here. So it was fairly big, but it was gone within like an hour.
Did you see the boob map?
No.
So there was a video and photos going around probably about 3-4 days ago of weather maps that everyone's showing. You know, you have those lines that show the intersection.
Yes, everything's moving. Right. High pressure, low pressure. There was
one that kind of a line dipped from Seattle down to New Mexico and then up to North Dakota. And then another line that kind of dipped from Minnesota down to Georgia and then up to New York.
Just kind of worked out right.
Yeah, literally had boobs on the weather reports in every channel.
When the power went out for like a split second, I was like, thank God I added the UPS down in the basement for all the NAS systems, because otherwise that gets dicey when those things go off without.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, you could lose a lot. And it also made sure my Lightning node was kept up and running. Not that anybody's boosting anything to it.
Now, I want my money protected.
Well, I know. See, I'm going to have to start charging you now that these fucking assholes, okay, I'm being mean to them. They provide a decent service, these Albi guys.
Just not free.
But they have limited, well, there is a part that is free, which is still what I am using, the Albi hub. But they have now limited the amount of extra wallets you can add to 3. So now I've got 3 extra wallets. You, Bemrose, Larry. They're all filled now, man.
You closed the Bemrose one.
Right. Well, true. I could just put the funds into your wallet.
No activities on there.
I could just
0 activity.
To put the funds. Well, that's true. There is nothing.
In fact, the funds in there are probably just enough to cover a sushi lunch.
You're right about that. How'd you know?
Yeah.
So we could just put that right into your.
Yeah, that'd be perfect.
Sub wallet.
He wouldn't mind because he's good for it. He said next time I'll pick up lunch.
I mean, not even a sushi. I mean, it's 46,000 sats, which is about $46 now. So I mean, that would get you some grocery sushi.
I am going to be in Seattle in a couple of weeks here.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah,
you gonna go on a ride along with Bemrose?
Yes, that's what I'm hoping for is a ride along.
Deliver some packages.
Yeah, so I can hold his urine bottle.
Hey, as long as you aren't going to be his urine bottle.
No, God.
But yeah, but he is the lowest amount here. Then Larry has got 223,000 sats. And you've got about double that. I mean, you're big in the sats.
I'm a big set guy,
Big set.
Whatever was left after I paid like $600 for hosting.
Right. So if I want more than the 3, then I have to pay them. And it wasn't horrible. I think it was like $3 a month. So
yeah, but for nothing, for literally nothing.
For them to give me back
doing anything.
What I originally had, because their software, when they originally put it out, that was unlimited. And then they went, oh, no, wait. So, I mean, open source is open source until you start putting a gun to people's heads and going, we're going to hold back shit we gave you.
Because they start off with just a free service. Then it's like, oh, no, we're going to shut that down. But we have this software that does stuff that you could use instead. Oh, but no, now we're going to shut that down. They're charging money for it. Hey, and the amounts they're coming up with, it was literally as bad as the guys that I was with for 3 years.
Oh, yeah. And they're currently,
I don't even remember the name of.
Experiencing
voltage or something.
Yeah, voltage. They're experiencing a partial outage right now on Albi. Like some relay, major outage.
Really? Wow.
I don't know if that's why things are, no boost at all.
Medical shit.
He found a new medical show called Pitt. People should watch it.
Pitt. Yeah, it's a good show. Apparently, according to all the actual doctors, because it sounds like from watching the React videos that not just the names of diseases, but literally their reactions, their tests, their equipment.
It's right on.
Everything is right on. Like this show was, I mean, I don't think it was, but if you listen to doctors, it sounds like this show was basically created as training videos for new doctors.
Or maybe to encourage more people to be doctors, or would this just scare people right away?
The head doctor on this show was also a doctor in the show ER.
Was this a porno you're talking about now, the head doctor? Was she cute?
The head doctor is usually the shrink.
Oh, right.
In this case, I mean, the
I was thinking of something totally different.
I know you are. He would be what the hell are they called? Like the main physician on the floor, like the lead guy. What there's a name for him.
Yeah, lead guy. Head doctor.
Yeah, maybe. But apparently he was in the ER. I'd never watched the ER, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah, I've never seen ER. I mean, that ran around for like 11 years or something. Yeah. Clooney and Patrick Dempsey were in it, but I've never put that on the list to. And
I think they had a hot nurse.
Well, of course, that's
I don't know what her name is.
That's how you sell TV.
I remember she was visually hot. She was like the kind of nurse chick that would be, librarian, nurse, whatever.
The weirdo suggests chief of medicine is what you're looking for.
Is that what the head doctor in the emergency room was called?
Maybe a chief physician. Might just be chief physician at that point, where the top of the hospital would be the chief of medicine.
I guess we can ask AI, right? It should know.
You're like, hey, hi. If I'm in an emergency room and I'm really fucked up, what do you call the head guy?
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, oh, you will die soon. I have looked at your medical records.
Yeah, that would be hilarious.
Like, what do we call you? I don't know. Who was, let's see, at ER?
Chief physician. But that's not what they refer to in these videos. There's another name for it.
Oh, Juliana Margulies was in there.
That's probably the one I'm thinking of.
Before she moved on to the legal show. Yeah. And back in the day, she was. I mean, this 94, that's a long time from 2025, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
More Attorney was in there as well. That was the one that was in.
Oh, no. It's More Attorney. I think it's the hot one.
She was great in the show News. News Radio, it was called. With Phil Hartman, one of the best comedies of all time. Joe Rogan.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody out there have not seen that? Do you want to put that one on the list? Do we want to watch ER? I mean, user review 7.9. That's 182 episodes. Wait, no, 249 episodes. Wait, 254 is the guy with the most. It's a lot of episodes.
Of what?
Of ER. Now today, it's like, oh man, this show ran for 14 years. Oh, how many episodes? It got like 6.
So you're thinking of Doctor Who?
Right. It's not around anymore, though.
Doctor Who?
No, it's gone.
Yeah, it stopped in the late 90s.
Yeah. Well, it stopped right after Capaldi at the very least. It's like, can you be more? And I don't care if it makes sense. But when you're doing diversity for equity's sake, when you're doing shows about things that are nothing but preaching, it's garbage. What's it called?
Did you see? Yeah. Yes. So my Alexa decided to chime in on that because AIs tend to want to talk to you all the time.
Yeah, they do. And funny, the first thing that came up when I had ER open more like this, The Pit. I don't know if that's really like ER, but
it's way better than the ER. Are you looking at the New York Times article?
It is a Max original. No, I was on IMDb. I was on the ER page for the show that was on 30 years ago. And its first suggestion, because I was looking at that page, was for The Pit. Very interesting. Noah Wiley as Dr. Michael Robanovich.
They really, it's not a bad show. I mean, I enjoy watching doctor shows. It's kind of interesting, but.
Well, you're always trying to diagnose yourself. You're like, I might have that.
What do you mean trying?
I might have this.
Hey, man, the way I work with my doctor is I do the diagnosis. He does the prescription. That's how it works.
You're like, have you ever heard of encephalitis? I saw it on a TV show. I'm pretty sure I've got it.
But no, that That's not the way that works, dude. That's just people that are constantly thinking that they're getting some disease. No, I come in with the solution in hand and I say, here's what you need to get a script for me for.
So if the next episode of The Pit has a Russian podcaster with a really long beard that comes into the ER with some horrible disease, you're going to be like, uh-oh. You're going to be checking with your doctor right away. Whatever that guy had.
Dr. AI. Dr. AI has come up with the correct prescription that I'm going to need to.
Hey, but can Dr. AI write the prescription and send it to your local Walgreens or CVS? That's the question.
Not apparently my local Walgreens, because my fucking insurance company has decided to fuck with me and charge more money for me or otherwise limit me if I use Walgreens instead of their pharmacy.
Which is their pharmacy? Just a mail order or
pharmacy, conveniently.
Well, of course. Use ours, but we only have one location nowhere near you.
We're the insurance company. We can sell you things that we will pay for ourselves.
Donald Trump, man, he's fighting for you to bring prescription prices down.
Dude, prescription prices are out of control. I don't think there's a single medicine I take that's less than $1,000 a month.
I don't think there's any I take that's more than $10 for like 90 days, but we're on different issues, I'm guessing.
Well, I mean, I have the better quality medicine, clearly. But,
right. You know, or better diseases. I don't know.
I'm not even talking about diseases. I just mean medicine in general, man.
What do you mean to treat? No, I'm just taking this.
High quality medicine.
Right.
You got your high quality stuff right here.
Get some very high quality medicine. Like, what are you treating, Gene? You're like, what do you mean?
China shit. This is good old made in America medicine. $1,000 per shot.
Was this the fat shot? Adam said one of his friends was complaining that the fat shot was too expensive. Are you that friend?
It is too expensive because they won't pay for it. So, which is crazy. It's insanity. Literally, the medicine that was developed to help diabetics that are overweight, the insurance company doesn't think I need.
Well, because other non-diabetic, not really fat women want to lose a few pounds.
Dude, my niece is on this shit.
Just because the doctor wrote a script? I'm like,
no, because she's buying it in Mexico like everybody else. It's like, well, you don't need to be. It's like, I just want to trim up a little bit. Like, oh my God.
I just thought it would be easier than actually, dieting and exercise.
Yeah.
Maybe stop with the ice cream and the lattes. Like, why would I want to do that?
If they combine Ozempic with pot, they would have a hell of a product.
A lot of really lazy but skinny people.
Yeah, lazy and skinny. Exactly.
Interesting. Well, I noticed.
You think it's still true now that over half the country smokes pot legally? You think it's still true that pot smoking is that image of Shaggy from Scooby-Doo?
Yeah, it's still totally Cheech and Chong kind of thing, man. Like, hey,
is that only the case for guys over 50?
Maybe, I don't know.
Everybody else thinks of pot as like nothing different than having a soda.
Really, I've known my fair share of potheads. Most of them were flooring installers, and the attitude was pretty much this slow motion between every one of them, man. And that's fine.
Yeah, they don't get into car accidents.
Well, this is it.
Too slow.
These areas where they have legalized a bunch of drugs, they noticed, car accidents went way up. Believe it or not. But I thought this was weird. One, and I don't think this is not connected. I think this is connected.
Yeah.
Oh, alcoholic drink sales on the decline.
Down. Yeah.
But the other day, I just randomly, I was looking for something, so I went to our local liquor store online, Binnings.com, and noticed there is now a huge selection of THC-infused drinks.
Yeah. It's crazy because, it used to be like CDB. Oh, yeah, we get CDB, but not THC. Dude, everything, including my whatchamacallit drug, has got THC in it now.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Apparently.
To get you high.
It's also got nicotine and caffeine in it.
Like,
So
well,
it's like it's the modern highball, I guess.
I was gonna say it's kind of like the kitchen sink concept. Like, let's just throw a little bit of everything in here.
I've told you about this. My methylene blue has 4 ingredients: methylene blue, nicotine, THC, and caffeine.
Caffeine's gonna kill you, man.
All of them are bad for you. All of them are addictive.
So why are they throwing
an addictive personality disorder?
No, of course not. Why are they throwing them all into one? Is this is it supposed to help? It's expensive
because it's got all this stuff in there.
Now, is that concept?
I'll tell you what, though,
it opens up your receptors to.
I think I'm a big fan of methylene blue. I've been on it now for about 3 months, and I think it's
turned
really
into a Smurf.
I pee blue, but no, my skin.
Which is a great party trick too.
The pee blue.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of parties you're going to where you're peeing in front of other people, but I don't go to those parties anymore.
Oh, well, you stopped a couple of years ago.
I stopped many years ago. But it's one of the good things about it is like the way it works is when it's actually utilized in your body, it obviously it breaks down. But if your pee is blue or green, that means you're getting enough of it because the blue or green that you're seeing is stuff that hasn't been used by your body, so it's excess.
Well, like your kidneys are going, fuck you, man, I'm not doing this anymore. That's kind of where you're at. Like, I'm supposed to filter this, but no. I mean, okay, the alcohol was one thing, but no, whatever this shit is, no. That's your kidneys sending you a very clear sign. You are going to die soon.
But you realize your kidneys filtering is what goes into your pee. Yeah. That's the outboard. The stuff that stays in your blood is. So I don't think my blood is blue.
Have you checked?
I mean,
okay. How scared would you be if you did a blood test?
The blood was blue. I think that would be super cool. I think that's a way. If you could color your blood without interfering with other processes, I would want either blue or green blood.
The nurse at the doctor's office where they do your blood work would probably pass out. Like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah. The phlebotomist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to get a good vein, man.
She is really good. I've had the same one. I've got a phlebotomist I've been with for 10 years now.
Well, of course. I mean, she probably knows the sushi guy.
I don't think she does. I know she definitely knows the rib guy.
Oh, the rib guy. I haven't had ribs in so long.
She's a very nice black woman.
And good at finding your vein.
Very good at finding the vein. Like, we could be having a conversation and chatting, and then she's like, I'm all done.
You're like, wait, what do you mean?
I didn't even realize you started.
Yeah, my wife has very small veins. Sometimes they have to call the nurse better at drawing blood to find one. And it's always it's amusing for me because it's just watching it when
just use my femoral.
You get stuck a few times and you're like, you're gonna do this right? Come on. I mean, one, it's annoying if they just can't find a vein. It's really annoying when they start sticking you going, nope.
Yeah, it's very annoying. But I think the technology's gotten much better. Like, the little robot arm that does this now is like barely imperceptible.
You have a robot that does this?
Well, no. I've got a phlebotomist that's operating the robot.
Oh, interesting.
What do you have?
Humans.
Well, yeah, I've got one of those.
Where do you keep it? Did they?
No. I mean, the phlebotomist chick has a little device thing, a little robot thing that like takes care of doing the actual work.
I've never seen something like that.
You put your arm into it, and then they put a Velcro strap over you so you don't move, and then you're good to go.
Are you sure they weren't just attaching you to the bed for a little bit of psychiatric evaluations? We're just going to strap you down for a moment here, Gene. Nothing to worry about.
A psychiatrist that's been able to analyze me my whole life. I don't know why that would change.
Like, we're just going to take a look here at what's going wrong. We need a good MRI of your brain waves. Just saying medical science. And now they're telling you like, 5% of all cancers can be tracked back to a previous MRI. Bullshit.
Well, not an MRI, a CAT scan or CT scan. Yeah.
True. I mean, there is a difference.
Yeah. MRI doesn't use radiation.
It just goes bang, bang, bang.
It hits you over the head with a hammer when your head is inside of it. It's literally from the Three Stooges.
Yeah.
You put a giant pot over your head, and then you have your two brothers bang on it with ladles on the outside. That's what an MRI machine is.
And you see what goes through, right? Is that kind of the concept? I know they're loud.
It's not. It's not that. That's on a CAT scan that is the case, but on the MRI machine, what they're actually doing with those high, very high or strong magnetic pulses is they're actually pulling electrons toward the machine and then watching them bounce back to their normal positions in your head.
Ooh.
So it is a pretty interesting process. I can't remember who invented it. I watched a video on it.
Of course you did. It was on YouTube, on the pit.
It was on YouTube. And I get my money's worth out of having YouTube Prime.
Oh, I do too. I watch YouTube way more than Hulu.
It's probably like, what, $16 or $17 a month now. It's more than I pay for any other channel, literally.
But it's a daily driver. You watch, there's new things.
I probably have like 6 hours of watching videos per day. And probably 5.5 of those is on YouTube.
Well, yeah, because the problem is other shows just don't release that fast. It's crazy.
No. It's instant. Anytime you want it, hit of dopamine.
Yeah. If you need a little bit of entertainment.
Yeah. Now, the way you get around that, if you don't want to get all that YouTube, is you got to get yourself a combination of things. You got to have caffeine, nicotine,
methylene blue.
And methylene blue. And that just takes you right out of that whole desire to watch videos.
It takes you out of the desire to actually stay awake, but that's a different...
Definitely not the case. You are super wide awake.
Super wired.
You're not wired. You're very awake.
Have you noticed your heart rate going up to 190
for a week?
It doesn't seem good. Your heart rate's at like 190 beats per minute.
I was trying to figure out if I had a little dysrhythmia this morning.
With probably the methylene blue.
I shocked myself back in, so
and the
it's
caffeine.
all good.
Would you use to shock yourself back in? Car battery?
No. It's much simpler than that. There's a way to use your diaphragm to reset your heart. You basically have to do a certain type of controlled breathing.
And it brings it right back into sinus.
Not medical advice. I cannot share this knowledge with people, but it's available out there if you want to search for it.
He wanted her to sing from her diaphragm. That's sick. Fucking Steve Martin was great back in the day.
He's still pretty damn funny. I've always liked Steve Martin's stuff. I think that it's really a combination of him and Michael Caine in Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, which I took a day off school to go watch when I was in the theaters. I used to do that a lot in high school. I would have a movie day.
I mean, during the week, you're just like, I'm not going to go to school.
Yeah, there's a few of us friends that used to just go watch movies in the theater during the week. I mean, usually it wouldn't even be a full day. It'd be like a half day.
I would do that in college. High school was harder.
I didn't have time to do that in college. I was too busy partying.
Right. Well, this was the problem. There were no classes going on in college.
If there were, I'd sure sell one there. No.
Hey, and I've told that story before. I don't remember what class it was, but here is how this
is in DePaul.
Yeah. This is the overall experience that you're paying the big money for. I don't even remember what class it was. But
$1,400 a quarter.
Right. I remember showing up on day one for the class, got the syllabus, saw that the grade was going to be based upon the midterm and the final. That was it.
Yep. No, that's the only time you got to show up.
Showed up for the midterm, showed up for the final, got a B, did not go to any of the other classes.
Yeah. Totally.
It's like, this is what the big money's going for. This is your learning experience, kids.
Dude, I took Russian in college.
Did you get a C?
I did.
Oh, that's great.
The first class I took, I think the first semester or whatever, I think I got an A. The second one, I got a B. And the third one, I got a C because I think the teacher didn't like when I was correcting him.
Right. Well, this would do it.
And that was the main reason that I got a C. It's because, like, well, you have to do it the way it's in the book. I was like, yeah, but no one actually says that.
But that's not what the book says.
Like it's in the book.
Yeah.
Yes. As a guy with a degree in Russian language studies, I can tell you this: you should do it like the book says.
There were way too many.
Well, that ain't going to be the way they teach it to you when you go to CIA language camp. I'm just saying.
When you get thrown in the gulag in Moscow, then they're going to be like, nope.
Dude, I can tell a fake Russian accent a mile away.
How? Sounds like Boris
so
and Natasha.
Easy. It is so easy. Yeah. The biggest thing that I've noticed that Americans always do when they're speaking Russian, even if the pronunciation, let's say, is pretty good. So they've watched some Russian movies, got the pronunciation down pretty good, is they always have the same order of verbs, nouns, and adjectives as they do in English. I'm giving away a big spy trick here, because it's the one thing, I don't know if they teach this or if it's just really hard to do, but in the English language, you have a particular order that you need to put things in that's been ingrained into us in school, right? So and I'm not a language guy. Yeah, I don't claim to be. I just happen to know a couple of languages and then like another half of another one. But it's a required order. Russian, like some other languages, does not have a required order. So you can have the verb first, you can have the noun first, you can have the adverb first, you can have the adjective first. Like the order doesn't really matter much.
So it's like Yoda.
It's like Yoda, exactly. So when somebody speaks, and Yoda is actually a good example. It's not like Yoda in reality, but it's a good thing to use for an example. Imagine if Yoda, who's using English words, right? You understand the meaning of every word he uses.
Yes.
But everything he says is in a particular order that he has. And let's, for the sake of argument, pretend that English doesn't have an order. It actually does, of course. But let's say that you could put any of these words into any position. But then you got somebody who always talks like Yoda. That is a sure giveaway that they're not a native speaker.
Relent, you will.
Exactly. I watched a video of Lucas talking about, or being asked about, why does Yoda talk like the way that he does?
Well, that popped up on mine too. I didn't watch it. Was it good?
You should watch it because I can't remember. I can't remember the answer. I set it up and then I'm
tell you I must.
What's the answer? But in that video, he actually does go on to explain why Yoda talks that way. And
drunk puppeteer.
No, not at all. But it was a planned thing that he wanted to do, but I can't remember why.
Well, it's a lot of these things when you're a lot of the stuff I read and have consumed about writing fiction. They're always like, give each character a very unique way of speaking, especially for books. It makes it stick out who is talking and people understand more because of the idiosyncrasy. So everybody's talking a little bit different makes a lot more sense.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
which is why I love P.G. Wodehouse. Have you read any?
No, what is it?
P.G. Wodehouse is the guy who wrote the Jeeves and Wooster.
Ah, yes, from the English.
Like the World War I era British stuff.
The one that Hugh Laurie played in
Hugh Laurie did a wonderful job, I think, playing Wooster, Bertie Wooster, and of course Stephen Fry played Jeeves. I really wish they did more of those books because there's a bunch of them, a lot of stories, but they only did a few of them. But it's just that, like, they're all speaking English. There's no translation necessary, but it's all that sort of end of the empire aristocrat English. It's like the children or the grandchildren of the people that actually grew the empire that are now doing absolutely nothing to maintain it. And it is shrinking and falling apart, but they're still aristocrats because that's how they were brought up and that's what they're used to. And, you know, their biggest problems is like, who's going to be serving first in tennis?
Those are serious problems.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Think about that and then come back again next week.